We live now, boys.
Okay, do you want to have a timer countdown?
Really? You want to
Like, I want a timer,
Okay.
so
Okay.
tell me when you're ready.
Yep.
3, 2, 1, go. Okay guys, this is Trials Fusion, this is a bike game. The only controls are accelerate, brake, and lean left and right. And we're going to start off by playing through all the extreme tracks in the game. So the extreme tracks you only unlock after you beat the entire game. And the game doesn't really expect you to be able to do them because they're so much harder than all the other tracks. But hopefully we're going to make them look fairly easy. So this is the first one, Eye of the Storm. It's by far the easiest extreme. So hopefully we should get through it without any mistakes. So some interesting mechanics to be aware of is this game is entirely based on its physics engine. So when I lean left and right, oh, what a mistake. I was hoping to do this with 0 mistakes. When I lean left and right, I've got to make a recovery here. So when I lean left and right, the rider shifts their body weight left and right, and the springs are emulated in both of the tires, and that's how I'm able to jump further. So the number one thing in this game to remember is this game is way harder than it looks. So I'm going to do the first checkpoint of this, and then I want a volunteer to come and try and do it to demonstrate how difficult it is. So I just did that obstacle. All you have to do is just jump onto the white thing and then jump onto the top thing. Would anyone volunteer to try and do it? Does anyone think they can do a pretty simple obstacle in Trial? It's pretty simple like that.
We need a volunteer.
Stop involving the bloody audience.
What am I doing? I wasn't paying attention.
Okay, so this is all you need to do.
Okay.
So you just need to jump off this rock onto here and just up to there. So the controls.
You just made it look so easy.
The controls are right analog stick is go, left and right.
This one?
No, so right. Sorry,
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Right trigger, left analog stick. And then just press B to reset.
Oh, what?
Press B.
Wait.
Just give it a bunch of tries.
Oh, okay.
You can use A if you want, or right trigger.
This isn't going very well. Oh my god. It's so oh.
Yeah. Oh, you got onto the white thing.
Oh wow, that was it. Oh my god. How did you do that the first time? Oh, no, no!
Do you want to give it a few more tries?
Yeah, well, 2 more.
Okay.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was
no.
close. That was close. Oh, flip back a little bit there.
She did it!
Okay. Thanks a lot, Rhiannon. Round of applause. So, hopefully that demonstrated this game is really not easy. You have to shift your weight effectively on every obstacle to be able to make it, and that was a pretty bad mistake. So this is the second extreme track. It's significantly harder than the first one, but it's still not too bad. So an important technique you'll see me doing a bunch is braking on my front tire above ledges. We'll talk more about that later. That checkpoint is a little bit finicky, but we can get it. Oh, this checkpoint is really hard for beginners because you have to get a really good bounce. This is the hardest checkpoint in the track easily, but this kind of obstacle appears a lot in harder difficulties, so I have a lot of practice. And then just over here. So yeah, we got 0 fault on that, which is really good. So there are 5 extreme tracks in the beginner game, and they all get significantly harder as we go on. So I don't think we'll be 0 faulting like City Run. I'm really bad at the second checkpoint, so expect a bunch of faults there. So here we're going to brake on our front wheel and totally mess up because we're amazing. This is the obstacle I'm really bad at. So just ignore this, all these fails. This doesn't matter. There we go. We did that first time. Oh, this has not gone well. Oh, that's okay. So and as you see, going on hills, it's really important to kind of feather the throttle, and so that you don't over-accelerate, which would cause you to backflip. This is a really difficult checkpoint casually because you have to get like an optimum bunny hop, but it's not too bad when you've practiced it a lot. This is a really annoying checkpoint. As you can see, you can only just get on top of that box. So this requires what's called a consecutive bunny hop, where you bunny hop like only just made it, where you bunny hop straight after landing on the previous one. This is just Choke City, the last obstacle, but we got it. 6 faults, I'll take it on Light City Run.
Nice.
So as we go into Frostbite, I guess we'll do a roll call. So I'm Murtag, playing the game.
I'm Flick.
Who also plays the game.
And I'm the imposter who's played the demo of the game.
Yeah, he's played the game very slightly.
So we've got a very good range of skills.
Oh. That was not how you do the first obstacle. Oh my god. So when things go wrong in Trials, things tend to go really wrong, as you can see. You clip just a stray thing, it's over. This is actually a really difficult checkpoint until you've practiced it a lot. Oh god. Oh god. I'm choking. Because you have to get a really good bounce there, which takes a lot of practice.
That is quite possibly the most deceptively hard checkpoint in the game.
Yeah, like, if you give that to a new player, they won't do it in, like, 1,000 tries.
Yeah, the first time I tried it...
That's the point of 1,000 tries.
For me, it looked like it used the suspension in the tyres to get a hop to get to the second platform.
Yeah.
Which is something I would not have considered possible in this engine. But
yeah. It's surprising the things that you can get the bike to do.
yeah.
Oh, what I should have done, I should have...
This is probably the hardest checkpoint for me. You have to get, like, a really good bounce off this rock, and I got it first time. Nice. And there we go. 6 faults on Frostbite is pretty okay, especially considering that the start went really badly. So now we're on to the final extreme of the start of the game, sorry, of the vanilla game without any DLC. This is by far the hardest extreme of the vanilla game.
So this was the final level in the game before there was DLC. It was like the ultimate challenge, basically.
Yeah. The first checkpoint may well be the hardest. You have to get an incredibly good bounce like that to get across. But every single checkpoint is designed with a particular technique. Not quite. We'll get there.
Yeah.
Every single checkpoint has traps. Like here, there's a bomb right there. I don't know whether you could see it. I like dodged it. That I had to like accurately dodge. These wheels spin round. Oh, accidentally went too far. In practice, I've been messing this checkpoint up a lot. Nice, we got it. This is probably the most infuriating checkpoint in Inferno 4. Name the barrels, so I'm just going to concentrate for a second to get it. Just barely got it, got the checkpoint. It took me over 1,000 tries before I got that on once. So getting that first try is really good. This checkpoint can be really annoying too.
Might also be worth noting that you get 500 pulse before you automatically just give up on it. It's like a hard thing.
Yeah, later on I might be mentioning like passing a track. Passing a track just means beating it in less than 500 faults or 30 minutes.
Say 500 faults.
Yes. When we get later on, you will see why you might fault 500 times. So here is like a near vertical wall climb. We'll get back to these later on. They're very hard before you've like tried to do them. To get up here, you have to accelerate like fully without losing control, and you just barely make it. And this is the Choke City checkpoint of Inferno 4. There we go, got it.
The hardest thing on the last checkpoint is getting enough speed to get to the last platform. Is what I found. To get a big enough jump.
So I said that was the hardest track in the vanilla game, but now we're going to be playing DLC. So this is where the machine, the obstacles themselves aren't much more difficult than Inferno 4, but it's very long, like 20 to 30 checkpoints. So platinuming this track, which is to do it in 0 faults, is extremely hard.
Yeah, there's 2 tracks in the DLC that would commonly be considered to be harder than Inferno 4, and this is one of them. Mostly just because of like how long it is, basically.
Yeah. Rear wheel bounces like that, where you basically bunny hop just on your rear wheel, are very precise because you have to be going at kind of just the right angle. These 2 checkpoints coming up are quite finicky. This little hop here is really quite difficult, but we got it nice. This jump here onto this upper level is quite difficult as well. But we got it. So there you saw again me, like very much controlling my accelerator on the uphill slopes, so that I don't over accelerate and backflip. So earlier in practice, I did this entire track in 3 faults, which is pretty unbelievable. So if we get anywhere near that, this is quite a nice obstacle. It just uses that little technique where you go underneath. So these uphill slopes, just going to take it nice and easy so that I don't get unnecessary faults. This is one of the hardest obstacles in the track. You have to get a really good bounce, and I got it first try, which is really good. Oh, only just getting that. These uphill slopes are much harder than the previous ones, so we're just going to take it really, really slow. Like, use the entire length of the slope. Oh my god. That was quite a bad choke. You see, we only just make it.
Yeah. A key thing that comes up is like some checkpoints are easier the slower you do them, and others are easier if you do them fast.
Yeah, I just do it like that. This is... Right, this is the last checkpoint. Kind of annoying, but not too hard in the grand scheme of things. Wow, 3 faults. That's really, really good.
I think I got 480 faults the first time I completed that track.
I think everybody did.
Yeah.
So this was... Oh yeah.
Yeah, and the first few times I failed.
I'm sorry if I'm talking over you, by the way. It's just the audio in my game.
I mean, you know the game better than both of us, bro.
Yeah.
Definitely more than me.
So this just straight up has really difficult obstacles, especially towards the end. So if we get like 10 faults on one obstacle, like it's because it's just so hard. I have actually 0 faulted this track. It took me about 15 hours to get it of just grinding this track, and I am really messing that up.
In my opinion, this is the hardest track
Okay.
in the game.
We'll be using that technique a little bit more later on, but that was like a sneak peek.
Yeah. It's called
Yeah, so that technique was called a fender grab. It'll be used in later tracks.
Yeah. You don't need to use it in any of the extreme tracks, but yeah, some later tracks require you to use it.
So this is the hardest obstacle in the game. It's just incredibly precise. First time, nice. And I am awful at this obstacle, so expect like 20 faults. Oh, we got it, nice.
Expect 1 fault.
Okay, so we have done all of the developer-made hardest tracks in the game, so we're going to move on to user-made tracks.
Yeah.
So, people who played this game a lot decided that the in-game tracks are way too easy and they need to make way harder tracks. So they invented something called ninja tracks, and we're going to play a ninja level 1, which means a ninja level that's just above extreme, but as you can see is way harder than extreme. So today we're just going to go through a bunch of ninja level 1s. The reason why we're not going to do ninja level beyonds that is because they are much harder. I might be able to pass a ninja level 2 with about 300 or 400 faults. I actually need to concentrate on this obstacle. Okay.
But yeah, completing a level with like 400 faults is not very good viewing.
So the run so far might seem that it's gone pretty smooth. It is about to not get smooth because of the difficulty here. I don't normally have this much trouble.
For perspective, like I've completed all of the extreme tracks that Murtag just completed, and I don't think I'll be able to get past the first checkpoint on this track, like at all. So, like with any amount of tries.
Yeah, I was really worried about this first obstacle on this track. Is just really obnoxious. You need to get a really good jump there. Okay, we finally got past it. This obstacle is pretty much just as obnoxious. But yeah, like, I'd like to, whenever you see me failing all of these times, just cast your mind back to our lovely volunteer Rhiannon and how many times it would have taken her to do those. This is kind of like the gap in skill required. So here is a wall that goes more than vertical. So we need to wheelie up it and then hook our front wheel over, which is, well, it sounds pretty hard, and it is, but we got it.
The key is if your front wheel touches it, it pushes you away at the top, so you can't go over.
So here is like a basically vertical wall climb, but we can do it. Oh, okay, this is gonna. So I was a little bit worried about this checkpoint as well. This last bit of the checkpoint is really difficult to get a good jump. Oh, nice. I'm really happy to get that. On the top right, you can see my splits. I'm currently 2 minutes ahead of my PB. To give you a perspective, I'm actually doing really well despite the amount of fails. And yeah, nice. I got a PB on that track. Excellent. So that was our first ninja. It kind of showed off a bunch of just the game just being incredibly difficult. Next, we're going to go on to another ninja. So people kind of discovered that you can push the game in a bunch of different ways to make the game extremely difficult. And one way is to have hill climbs that are incredibly difficult, that are like basically vertical. And this is going to be a hill climb ninja. The first 2 checkpoints of this track are like just completely obnoxious. We just got past the first one. But once we get past these first 2 checkpoints, you should see some pretty interesting hill climbing. This is just a really precise rear wheel bounce. If you touch your front wheel on the wall at all, it'll push you off, and it's basically game over. Okay, that was pretty good. As you can see, 43 seconds ahead of my PB. So here, I have to hold towards the wall and accelerate very precisely. My front wheel coming off, that shows that I basically need to accelerate less. So the way I'm going to do these little gaps is just by going incredibly slowly. There is a faster way of doing it, but it's more difficult, so we'll just do it this way.
It is also very difficult to get the
oh god. Yeah, like the difference between accelerating too much and too little is like about 5% of pressing the right analog stick down. So I am hardly changing how I'm pressing the right analog stick to get this. Requires a lot of practice. There we go. Okay, we got it there. So this is going to be a bit of a longer hill climb. So that, I did something subtly, you probably didn't notice, but something that's really important, where you decelerate up hills. But we'll talk about it more because this is a pretty cool checkpoint. So remember before we saw that fender grab that I cheekily did on Meteor Rain? Well, ninja tracks require it, as you saw there. We'll just try again. Okay, so this is probably the hardest checkpoint here. You see the little gap there? It just makes it incredibly difficult because you basically have to jump off the wall and get back, which is very, very difficult. I'm gonna have to just concentrate a bit here. That was close. That was very close. Excellent, yeah. Okay, so this is just, as you can see, just very, very steep wall climb. Okay, so this is the last checkpoint, and it's just a giant wall climb, and we're going to demonstrate decelerating up hills. So basically, if I accelerate here on that vertical wall, I just backflip. So I have to decelerate. So I have to build up loads of speed and then slowly decelerate, but still going upwards. So I'm basically just watching my front wheel the whole time, and as soon as my front wheel looks like it's about to lift off, I kind of let off the accelerator. And if I just finesse it just right, I will have enough speed to get all the way up. That was very close. In practice today, I got this first time. It really is just about not losing any speed at the start, because you need to be going as fast as possible. I can feel my hand is I've got like pins and needles in my right finger. Okay. So this will definitely happen on a bunch of checkpoints. Like, these checkpoints are just so difficult. Oh, that was very, very close. This feels good. No! We'll get it, we'll get it, don't worry.
Kind of close.
Oh my god.
The biggest problem is, like, after you've slowed down, you can't accelerate again.
Yeah, once you lose your speed, like, you've lost it.
So it's not like you can stop and start and try again. You have to do it all in one go. Otherwise.
There we go.
There we go.
And we died, but it's fine.
Also, a very important thing about trials, which is actually kind of merciful. If you are about to fall over, but your head gets past the checkpoint, you get the checkpoint.
Yeah, your head is the thing that decides whether or not you get the checkpoint or not. So this is going to be a quite a different ninja. It's got a lot of weird checkpoints, which might go absolutely terribly. In practice, it took me about 50 tries to do this first checkpoint, so hopefully that doesn't happen. Here, I need to position myself just right. Oh, first time. So here, this is something called rear wheel, back wheel. If my back wheel touches this platform, I instantly die. So I'm only allowed to touch my front wheel.
What? Why?
So, and you'll see how we'll do this. That was almost it. So a lot of tracks will use this throughout the. There we go. We'll use this throughout the entire track, but they are extremely difficult. Like imagine doing the tracks that we've done so far, but you could only use your rear wheel the entire time. Oh, that is a really hard jump. I'm so glad to have got that first try. Wow, this is a great run. So here, this is a really weird technique where it's like an inverse fender grab. So we're going to hook ourselves round here, and not like that. And then hopefully get underneath like that. So something you might have noticed when I'm braking on my front wheel, you might have heard my engine like turning on and off really rapidly. That's a technique that we call fapping. Basically, it's where you hold the brake, so you hold the accelerator and rapidly tap brake, and it turns out that it makes your bike rotate really quickly, and it's really helpful for when you want to rotate your bike forwards, for example, like right there.
You're getting Lenny faces.
I didn't name it that.
No, I understand, but Lenny faces. It's called fapping.
Right. This is quite a difficult hill climb, so I'm just going to take it easy. And then just the last checkpoint here. Just need to get a really good rear wheel bounce. And there we go. What time are we on?
It is 26 minutes.
Okay, I'm like doing really, really well. So I've just totally jinxed myself. But so now we're gonna do probably my favorite ninja. It's another hill climb ninja, but it's more difficult than the one we did before. So there is something which I call the critical level. The critical level of a wall is whether or not you can accelerate up it. Couldn't quite get that. So this wall, for example, is not critical because I can accelerate up that wall, no problem. But later on, we'll come to walls that are like past critical, and those are ones where you cannot accelerate up, like a vertical wall. And that's when it gets hard. So the first time I tried this obstacle, it took me over 500 tries. So this whole wall is like past the the vertical bit is past critical. Didn't quite get it there. This part is also past critical, which means I need to build up speed to get up it. So this obstacle's got a really nasty transition. So here so I need to build up a bit of speed here, go up a basically vertical wall, and then transition here. Didn't quite have enough speed to get it. Like that. And that little section is really easy to choke. This has got quite a nasty transition onto the wall, which is super critical. I can't hear what you just said.
What's the mask on the rider?
Oh, it's the mask is of a Lynx because it's Red Lynx is the developers.
Thank you. That was a Twitch question.
Yeah, so you can customize your rider in the game. You can have a male or female rider, and you can have all kinds of stuff. I use this kind of blue outfit and the Lynx head because that's the developers, Red Lynx. So here, the next couple of obstacles are kind of like they're not really hill climbs. They're kind of more about doing really good bunny hops and controlling your bike up really steep sections. I can't believe that worked. This is really difficult right here, but we got it first time. I failed that a lot of times. I accidentally, my front wheel kind of jumped up, made that really hard. Just about got that. Okay, so this is a really difficult section because this entire wall is past the critical point, so I can't accelerate up it. So I need to land on it, not fall off like that, and not go down the wall at all, because I can't accelerate.
Question for Twitch. Do you use the same bike for every course?
Do I use the what?
Same bike.
Yeah, so I've been using the Pit Viper the entire time. The Pit Viper is pretty much the best bike for difficult tracks.
Are there any, are there different bikes and do they have different strengths?
Yeah, they do. So on like really high speed tracks, there's a different bike for those. And there's also like a BMX, which is also kind of interesting, but generally not as good. Pretty much, at least if you're looking at difficult tracks, everybody will always use the Pit Viper, unless a track was specifically made with something else in mind. So I totally glossed over that checkpoint. It's really hard. This checkpoint is also really difficult because, again, this section all here is past the critical point and it becomes vertical for quite a long way. So I have to transition really smoothly and with a good amount of speed and then decelerate up it. Okay, this is a really difficult position to recover from, but it is possible. Oh! I was very, very close.
Yeah, even on like very easy tracks, often you'll find yourself in that situation, and like, unless you're really good at the game, you're never gonna get it. But you will try it every time, and you'll fail.
Yeah, it's a situation that appears like really often. So this is the last checkpoint. It's actually really a lot harder than it looks. Like this little jump here is nasty. This is really difficult here. You have to transition straight into it and get a really nice jump like that. And then straight into a hill climb, which we just about got. Nice. So 34 faults on that is really good. So what time am I on?
You're on 31 minutes.
Okay, so I normally was going to stop here, but actually, since I have extra time, I do want to basically give this ninja a go. So this is a extremely long ninja track that gets harder and harder and harder as it goes on. So I'm just going to see how far I can get. I have never come close to even passing this track. Remember, passing a track is beating it in under 500 faults and 30 minutes. So the start is like pretty smooth. It's smooth if you can do the ninjas that I've just done, at least. That was... Here I just need to do a bunch of consecutive bunny hops to keep jumping up higher and higher, which I am totally failing to do. Just about made that. I totally messed that one up. Okay, so I would say that's like the easy section of the track so far. Now I'm gonna start falling a lot more. And we're about maybe not even 10% of the way through the track right now. I can't even remember how long it is. I've only ever gotten about halfway through this track.
Does the game ever give you any indication of how far you are through the track?
No.
Oh, you just hope.
Yeah, you just hope. In multiplayer there's an indicator, but not in single player. This is, in practice, I choked this checkpoint so many times. That transition there is really difficult. And that is really easy to choke, and getting that first time, I'm super happy. This is just horrendous. You have to get like a really crazy jump to get past that section. I didn't mention it, but only your rear wheel has power, of course. Oh crap, oh crap, oh crap. Yeah, I'm not sure if it was even possible to make it from there. You need to do that in one go.
But yeah, like since only your rear wheel has power, like if only your front wheel is on like the track, you just fall off.
That is really good. Getting up to here in 13 faults, that is crazy good. So this is an incredibly difficult hill climb. So it basically goes subcritical, critical, and subcritical again, and then a really long critical section. So you have to manage your speed incredibly well. So we're gonna use up. Yeah. So I'm gonna limit myself to 8 minutes on this track so that I finish on 40 minutes on time. And now I'm worried that I'm gonna spend 5 minutes on this obstacle. Yeah, even just getting onto the wall is really difficult.
Does the water affect grip, or is it fully
No, that's just aesthetic. Yeah, that was nowhere near enough speed, but at least we kind of did the hill climb a little bit. As you can see, we didn't even see the top. The top is pretty high up.
Maybe you should show a specific bike to the person that asked about the kinds of bikes.
So we got like 2/3 of the way up that then. Show a different bike.
No, one in particular, the last one in the menu.
Oh yes. Yeah, I'll actually limit myself to I'll say 6 minutes to leave 2 minutes for something special at the end. Since someone asked about a different bike. The last DLC in this game added a rather interesting bike, to say the least. So yeah, that should be a little fun thing to do at the end. Yeah, like I say, this ninja. Even if I got past this obstacle, it's very unlikely I would get like even slightly further. It really steps it up at this point.
What level ninja would you say that this is?
I would say so. At the start, this is still ninja level 1, but later on it goes towards ninja level 2. So it's probably worth talking about like the difficulty this game reaches. So I've showed you hard stuff, but this is absolutely nowhere near the hardest that this game gets. So ninja level 1s are the ones I've been doing. Ninja level 2s I could maybe do in 400 or so faults. However, there is ninja level 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. 7 being only 2 tracks that ninja level 7 have ever been passed by anybody in the world. They use the front wheel and back wheel mechanics heavily. So imagine the entire track, you know, certain parts you can only touch with your front wheel and back wheel, and also just incredibly difficult techniques and huge levels of precision and very long obstacles.
It's definitely worth looking them up at some point just to see.
Oh, that was very, very close. Yeah, so I'm just gonna mercy kill this track just so I have time to show you.
28 minutes, so I'll give you like 5 minutes.
Yeah. The latest DLC. I don't even know which one to do. Let's do the boss battle. So when I said they introduced a new bike, I was maybe slightly stretching what the word bike means. So I am a cat with a red bandana with a golden gun riding a rainbow unicorn. Obviously. The controls are still the same, which doesn't really make any sense at all.
So it has the same bike physics.
Yep. It feels really heavy, like The cat has like no weight, so when you lean left and right, it doesn't really do anything. Also, sometimes Unicorn breathes fire.
Because when you think of Trials, this is what you think.
Yeah. So, thank God they didn't introduce any extreme difficulty tracks that use this vehicle. Oh, that was kind of a bad joke.
So these
I haven't
These are actually the hardest tracks in the game. No, not even close.
Let's just take this easy.
Yeah.
You can do a skip where you like jump straight up there, but I haven't exactly practiced these.
I think all of the difficulties for these tracks are medium.
Yeah. They didn't make any hard ones because that would be so obnoxious. Now we're on fire, which is probably fine, right? I think we just did a skip. I think that wasn't intended. So this level is called the boss battle because there is indeed a boss battle. Here it is. It's actually quite hard. It's a penguin in a robot. Don't worry about those guys. We saved those before. So we just need to balance on the top. Ah, we died. Crap.
Yeah. It's really hard because like you have to like land on the robot, I guess, without falling off.
Yeah, the robot kind of launches you up and then just like moves, and then you just miss. Because obviously you have no control in the air. God damn it. We'll get it. We'll get it. We'll beat the boss.
Can you reverse in this game?
Sorry?
Can you reverse?
Can I reverse? You can reverse, but it's very slow.
So they always have to stay on the left side.
So I am actually reversing like there. That's what I'm doing. There we go. That's a bit better. There we go. We beat the boss.
It's that time.
So yeah, this game doesn't take itself very seriously at all.
Does that count as
So
time?
that's Trials Fusion. Time. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. What's up next?
Next is Zedo doing Rise of the Tomb Raider.
That's going to be a really good run, so stick around for that.
Stick around for that.
Thanks. Thanks for sitting there, guys.
Very good at sitting.
I'm sure I talked over you loads because I just can't hear anything.
Nothing to say.